Good evening and welcome to the Formula Racing League. Round 7 of the Taco Tuesday Pro Series takes us to Zolder in Belgium for the penultimate round of Season 10. Tom Cairns in the contra position, providing you with the details as always in this tier. And we are seeing some drivers out on circuit completing their remaining laps. We do apologise for the delay to the broadcast for technical reasons, but we've got it underway just in time before practice ends. And Vermeulen is at the top of the timing pages with 1 minute 28.2. And in terms of what happened last week, it was a convincing victory for Zdeněk Vorkl, who is within touching distance of the title. We'll run down on the championship standings in a moment. But Vermeulen is on top of the timing pages. He's not in the reckoning for the championship, for your information. I'm sure he'll be all out to do a stellar job this evening. So we should have 24 in the lobby, but I think we've got 23 at the present moment. Craig Law up there in second place. And the checker flag is out now, so drivers will be completing their remaining laps. And looking at the championship standings, Vorkl is 20 points clear over Nico Busov, with Mario Arsenio third, a further 5 points back, with Jeffrey Godefroy, Ben Milden in 4th and 5th places quite some way behind. All Vorkl needs to do to win the championship is essentially be at least 43 points clear of everyone else, and he will be crowned champion. If he can do that by winning the race and getting the fastest lap, we have to hope that Busov finishes essentially 23 points worse off in this race, which would mean he would need to finish 12th or lower, or 13th or lower I should say, and for Arsenio to be, how far is he behind? He's 25 points behind, so he needs to outscore him by at least 18 points. So for Arsenio to be 9th or lower, and for Busov to be 13th or lower, and for Vorkl to win the race and get the fastest lap, that would be enough for him to clinch the championship. It's unlikely, but anything is possible. Qualifying is underway then, 15 minutes it is, and it'll be a 60-minute race that follows to round off the action for tonight. And Vorkl is one of the first drivers out on circuit, aiming to get on with this. So Zolder, which was a previous home of the Belgian Grand Prix for Formula 1. The last time it did host a race was in 1984, won by Michele Alboreto. Four kilometres long. It says that it's 10 turns, but it feels like it's a lot more than that. Vorkl is making his way through and he's looking to get track position. So Vorkl won the race last week in Valencia. In second place was Mario Arsenio, and finishing the podium was Craig Law, his first of the campaign, moving him up to 7th in the standings, cementing his place in the top 7. Jeffrey Godefroy, who goes into this race 38 points back. He could stay in the hunt if he can outscore Vorkl at this race, but he needs a very strong result and for Vorkl to really blunder here. But Vorkl's crossing the line to start a lap of this racetrack here in Zolder. So down to third gear, 130 kilometers an hour before using the outside curb and positioning the car for turn 2. 120 kilometers an hour at the apex, and applying the throttle, and then through the sweeping right-hander of 3 as you go up to 4th gear, and then you brake and turn whilst you're in 3rd gear. Nicely done through there from Vorkl, and onto this back straight. There's a chicane coming up. Now how you time your braking and turning point, well, that's down to driver preference, but Vorkl seems to handle that for a first time lap of qualifying. That's neatly done. Now up the hill and down the hill, this is where Gilles Villeneuve had his life lost, unfortunately. through a slow chicane that was reprofiled following that infamous weekend of 1982. Up the hill and using the curb on the outside, 4th gear it is, and there's a little kink before you approach the next braking point, which is the right-hander, which is otherwise known as the Jochen Rindt curve, named after the 1970 world champion, the only posthumous world champion in Formula 1 history. The last chicane now, otherwise known as the Jackie X chicane, out of there in 2nd gear and approaching the start-finish line, and that rounds off a lap of this 4-kilometre circuit in Zolder. So Volkel is fastest with a 1:29.0. Vermeulen's got a time on the board, but not very representative. Craig Law 2/10 off Volkel's time in P2. No rain is expected for this session. In terms of what the weather will bring for the race later, that's anyone's guess. Kobe Alert's in 3rd position. He wasn't around last week in Valencia. In fact, I don't think he's competed that much this season either, has the home hero. In fact, Al Dori has not even started the race, and yet he's on a minus 25 point penalty. So he's got some work to do from where he is. He's obviously not in the championship fight, but he'll want to end his season on a high. Taking too much curd though as Craig Law. I'll go back to the pit lane. Arsenio is fastest with a 1:28.9. The fastest time in practice was a 1:28.2, which Vermeulen had posted. So that's round about the lap time to expect for this session. Jared Vermeulen, the number 14 Ferrari 296 GT3, for a better lap time than before. Where is he out on circuit? Well, he's coming towards the last chicane now. Just over 10 minutes remaining. There's not a lot of time to get these laps in. On a circuit like this, it's probably more favourable because there's more laps you are able to get done, but on the longer circuits it can be a nightmare. Vermeulen goes over the line, and I think that lap time was actually invalidated for track limits. There is Fernando Ferreira, who's yet to compete this season. This will be his first start of the campaign. This is the top tier out of those in the Formula Racing League, Assetto Corsa Competizione. 23 in the lobby. Unknown as to how many we'll get next week, and there's question marks as to whether the grid is going to be expanded for next season, and if so, I'd imagine the tier system will be reduced from 3 to 2. Melvin Kroos is in 3rd position, for less than a half a tenth off the pace. Arsenio is now behind Volkel again, because Volkel is at the top with a 1:28.9, just 1/100th faster than the McLaren. Josh Clayton up there in 5th position, doing rather well in the number 500 Ferrari. And Sean Cole, last season's champion, he's heading over the line. He's only 20th fastest. Caruana is the only driver yet to get a time on the board. Will Rayner has yet to get a representative time as well. Number 14 is coming round to complete a lap. That'll be for Vermeulen. It needs this lap to count. Comes over the line. And this lap time is good enough. Is that put into the top? It has done, you know. 3/10 faster than what Volkel has done. Excellent lap time there from Jared Vermeulen. Or Jared Vermeulen. So Dennis Volkel in 2nd place. It's Mauro Arsenio, Melvin Kroos, Jeffrey Godefroy, Josh Clayton, Fernando Ferreira, Morgan Grace in 8th. Nico Busov is in 9th. And Mauro Begantin is in 10th position. And it's the man from Northern Ireland, Craig Law, in P11, with Adrian Hanovich in 12th. Matteo Di Stefano in 13th position. Ben Mills in 14th. He's got some work to do from where he is there. We expect him to be around about the fringes of the top 5. Fogler Bizzle is in 15th position. It's Stuart Hutchison, Kobe Alerts, Luke Prentice, Pedro Postle, Will Freeman's in 20th. Sean Cole, Will Rayner and Corona are at the back at the present moment. Mauro Arsenio has gone back to the top. 1:28.2. The track is picking up by the second. Now Arsenio, who I don't believe has been on pole yet this season, as far as I can remember. I'd have to re-jog my memory in terms of who's taken pole where. Started the season at Monza where Vorkel took pole and won the race only just over Mauro Arsenio. Jordan Myler took pole in Brands Hatch. Melvin Krause took pole in Austin. Vorkel took pole in Donington. And Vorkel took pole in Valencia. Vorkel has got 4 poles to his name out of 6. Jordan Myler has got 1 and Melvin Krause has got the other one. Mauro Arsenio has not taken a pole position so far this season, but he has picked up a race win, and that was at Donington a couple of weeks ago. He's run wide there at the chicane, so he'll make his way back into the pit lane. Vorkel in P3 at the moment. I think going through his mind, I don't think he'll be thinking too much about needing to clinch the championship tonight. He just needs a good enough margin to take into the season finale at Paul Ricard in 7 days' time. Nico Busov up to 4th place in the Porsche, displacing Godefroy in the process. There's Josh Clayton ahead of Morgan Grace. Melvin Krause in 8th. It's Mauro Begantin and Fernando Ferreira who's down to 10th now. Everyone's got a time on the board, albeit not really representative. Caruana's lap time has moved him up to 21st position. Will Rayner has yet to get a representative time on the board. Sean Cole's down there as well. Sean Cole's time is not really that representative compared to what we normally see from him. Well, Will Rayner's gone over the line. I think that's probably to start a lap. Sean Cole going over the line to do the same. Let's see how these two get on. Got the 911 coming over the line. Ferreira, that is. Is he going to have to move him up the order? Goes up to P7. Does the man from Portugal, Fernando Ferreira, up the order then. Got the number 38 coming through, which is Hanovic, who was impressive last week in Valencia. He was unfortunate to miss out on the podium, but ended up in 5th place by the checkered flag. 95 of Busov coming through over the line. Not able to improve. The car behind though, that is Will Freeman's, move up to 11th place in that red liveried Mercedes AMG. 702 is next, which is Kobe Alerts. He's not able to move up. Number 46 coming through the last chicane. That is Ben Milden. He's in need of a good time with less than 5 minutes to go. Here he comes then. Can the Brit move up the order in the BMW? The answer is no. Babizzle next behind is coming over the line. He doesn't go up the order either. Got the 999 of Vorkel crossing over. I think these are on their next set of tyres. Arsenio most certainly is as well. He just needs to be careful he doesn't get in the way of other drivers on fast laps. 233 of Melvin Krause coming through. Entering the last chicane now. Does Arsenio know that he's there? I think Krause lost time going over the curves. They may have got distracted by Arsenio. But Krause is less than a second off the pace. Isn't able to reduce that. Adrian Hanovic in 14th position. Stays 14th. Number 14 of Vermeulen going over the line. It's a 1:27.9 and he's into the 1:27, so it's the first lap time into the sub 1:28. Vermeulen absolutely flying so far in this qualifying session. Very impressive stuff. Senio coming through the chicane there. Although we want to try and go to the number 46, which is Ben Milden in the BMW. He'll have at least 2 more goes at this. Over the line. Is that enough to go up the order? The answer is no. He stays where he is in 16th. Babizzle in the Audi does not go up the order himself. Vorkel doesn't go up the order, stays in P3 at the moment. He'll be content with that. See who's moved up the order. Matteo Di Stefano is in 15th position. Now Di Stefano, who's already won a race this season at Brands Hatch, has not had a lot go for him since then. is Vermeulen, who's looking to extend his margin even further to the rest, although he's just slowed down to give himself some breathing space so that when he does begin his next lap, he's got enough track position before he catches up to any drivers. .95 of Busov is coming around the last corner now, and he's coming towards the line in the Porsche. And he goes not up the order. He does not improve his time. 68 of Postle. It doesn't go up either. Hansen doesn't go up either himself. Got the number 46 going through. That is Ben Milden. He's aiming for an improvement here. 17th. And he goes up to 15th, so it's not a radical improvement for Ben. 34. Through that. Which is Volkov Papizel. Volkel is still in P3. Arsenio is still in second place. If you have just joined us, we do welcome you to the broadcast. Do get involved in the live chat if you ever so wish to do. Arsenio crossing over the line now. Does he improve his time at least? No, he doesn't. He's got one more chance at it now. Now Vermeulen is coming round the last corner. He'll get one more go at it too. Is he going faster than he did so last time? The answer is no. So he stays in P1. 95 of Busov is coming through. And his lap time is not an improvement either. Track is not really picking up in the final few minutes at the moment. 77, which is Begansin who's going over the line. He doesn't improve either. So Ben needs to get an improvement from where he is in 16th position. 1.3 seconds off. He'll get another go at it though. It's not an improvement. So Ben stays where he is. 999 coming round. This is Volkel. This will be his last lap. And it's not an improvement. So Volkel will not be on pole position, but third place will do for him. Here is Mauro Arsenio, who is going to be Vermeulen's closest threat here. Getting on pole. Melvin Kroes is coming through. He's in 9th place. Arsenio is the one we're focusing on for now. And Kroes doesn't go up the order. Arsenio was able to get the gap down, but it's not enough to displace Vermeulen. Vermeulen coming into the pits because he knows that no one's going to beat his time. There's still some drivers out on circuit. Craig Law is one of them. Through the Jackie X chicane now. And is this going to be a good enough lap to put him further up the order, maybe into the top 10? P11 it is. So at least he improved in that last timed effort. The number 46 out on circuit, Ben Milden. He's still going in the BMW. But too much curve there and he's just pulled off the circuit because he knows he's not going to improve. So Volkov Papizel is the last driver to go over the line. 18th he is at the moment. Does he go up the order? The answer is yes, he does actually. Goes up to 14th. So a brilliant last time effort there for Papizel going up into that placing. At the end of qualifying, it is Jared Vermeulen on pole position here at Spa in the number 14 Ferrari. Mauro Arsenio is second, with Zdeněk Volkel, the champion-elect, in third place. Nico Busov fourth, followed by Jeffrey Godefroy in fifth place. Alongside him on the third row of the grid is Josh Clayton. Then we've got Fernando Ferreira and Morgan Grace on the fourth row, with Melvin Kroes and Mauro Begantin rounding out the top 10. Craig Law 11th, followed by Matteo Di Stefano in P12 on the sixth row. Then we've got Will Freeman and Volker Papizel on row 7, followed by Kobe Alerts and Adrian Hanovic. Ben Milden in a really disappointing 17th position alongside the reigning champion Sean Cull. In 19th position is Luke Prentice alongside Will Rayner. Stuart Hodgson and Petra Postel on row 11, and on his own in 23rd place on the 12th row is Caruana. So we're just waiting for field to make their way back onto the grid for the formation lap. 60 minutes it will be for the race. I would expect it'll be around about a 40 lap race here at Spa, maybe a little bit more, but that depends on the pit stops as well, and maybe the weather to throw that in. Do make sure you like and subscribe if you can on Twitch. Watching us live, get involved in the live chat. If you're watching us on YouTube on catch up, do make sure you like and subscribe, and you can keep up to date with all the action within the Formula Racing League Assetto Corsa Competizione. We're coming towards the end of season 10 of the FRL. It's gone quite quickly, in all honesty. At least it gives the drivers and the admins of the league itself some time to reflect and what they can do to improve going into next season. So as a suggestion from me, with all the tests going on at the moment, I'd like to see a 40 car grid, because that's what makes Tier 1 so special in Taco Tuesday. Let me know what you want to see in season 11. Maybe which circuits you'd like to see. Who knows? Because there's enough to choose from. Have a look to see time of day it will be over at Zolder. Hopefully it's not going to be too dark. At the end of the day, it's not my decision on what time the race does begin. Will say though is that the time lapse is twice as fast as what it is in real life. So we've got all 23 cars on the grid. We're raring to go for the start of round 7 here in Zolder. I'm just going to take a couple of minutes to grab a drink, and then we'll be right back for the formation lap. Field now on the grid. It'll be a rolling start as always in ACC. Just a reminder of the situation in the championship. So Dennet Vorkel goes into this 20 points clear over his nearest rival, Nico Busov, who is alongside him on the second row. All Vorkel needs to do is to outscore Busov by at least 23 points in this race and outscore Arsenio by at least 18. Championship will be wrapped up. They also need to outscore Jeffrey Godefroy by 5 as well. It's unlikely the championship is going to be wrapped up, but never know. 40 points for a race win, plus 2 you can get for the fastest lap. And it's Then it's 38 for second, 36 for third, so on. And it's a 2-point difference between each position from 1st to 11th, and then from 11th downwards, it's a point difference. The field are on their formation now. However, Luke Prentice has opted to start from the pit lane instead of taking up his 19th position. The Yara Vermilion's on pole with Mario Arsenio alongside. Then we've got Zdenek Vogel and Nico Busov on the second row. Jeffrey Godefroy and Josh Clayton are on row 3. Fernando Ferreira and Morgan Grace are on row 4, followed by Melvin Kroos and Mauro Begansin. Craig Law and Matteo Di Stefano in 11th and 12th, followed by Will Freeman and Fogler Pavizl. Kobe Alerts and Adrian Hanovich make up row 8, followed by Ben Milden and Sean Cull. Luke Prentice's position will be taken by Will Rayner, so him, Hutchison, Possible and Caruana will move up. Will Rayner and Hutchison will be on the 10th row of the grid, with Possible and Caruana on the final row of the grid. Luke Prentice will start from the pit lane. Well, who would have thought of Vermeulen being at the head of the field? Can he convert it into victory? He's been on the pace since practice. The race is all what matters now. Each driver has to make a mandatory pit stop throughout. In terms of when they can do that, they can do that anytime they like, up until the final minute of the race. Pit window opens 1 minute after the race has started, so you can literally take your mandatory pit stop at the end of the first lap if you wanted to. Vermeulen ahead of Arsenio. Can he pull away at the lights? Now the cars are ghosted, of course, because they are on their formation lap, trying to get as much tyre temperature generated as possible. Joachim Rindt, right-hander. Jackie X to get through now as well. Jackie X chicane, I should say. They're beginning to form up in their rows of 2. Short lap is Zolder 4 kilometres long. We're ready to go then for the penultimate round of the Taco Tuesday series in the Formula Racing League Assetto Corsa Competizione. Can Vermeulen become a race winner of this championship? Can Zdenek Vogel get the championship more or less wrapped up today? Now they wait for the green flag to wave. It will come around when they go over that line that Vermeulen is about to go over. The green flag is waved and the drivers are off. Vermeulen defends his line from Vogel and Arsenio, but Arsenio is looking to the outside in the McLaren, but Vermeulen is able to cover him off. There was a little bit of a skirmish going on further behind, but I think everyone seems to have got through there safe and sound. Vermeulen leads, Arsenio is second. Then Vogel is still in third place by the looks of it. Not anymore, because Busov is ahead of him. Busov has got in front of Vogel during the first sector of the opening lap. Godefroy's dropped back a place. He's behind Josh Clayton, who's got ahead of him. And there's an incident at the back. Someone's in the wall, and there's plenty of other cars coming in from behind. Absolute mayhem here at Zolder. I cannot believe what I've just seen. Craig Law seems to have got through, but plenty of cars have been affected on that back straight. Horrendous. And Begansin's flying up in the air thanks to the game itself. But honestly, it all begun with Kobe Alerts going into the wall. I think it was further back, but there's going to be plenty of pit lane activity at the end of the first lap, most certainly. Unbelievable. Well, Vermeulen's still in the lead. Arsenio's in second place. Busov third. Vogel fourth. Godefroy's got back into fifth place. Kroos is ahead of Clayton into sixth. And Grace in 8th place, ahead of Ferreira. Pavizl's managed to avoid all the carnage, is in 10th place. Law and Milden seem to have got through all of that as well. Although I think Milden's got some damage on his bonnet. So I would imagine he'll probably want to come into the pits as soon as he can. Caruana seems to have avoided all that, and he's running in 14th place. And Hutchison is coming into the pits. He's got damage as well. Luke Prentice has carried on, because he started from the pit lane and avoided all that mayhem. Di Stefano's in the pits, as is Alerts. Postle will need to come into the pits. Hanovich is out. Begantin has stopped on circuit as well, and he is gone from the race. Will Freeman's continued on, but he's a long way back, and Will Rayner is out of the race as well. So we've lost 3 drivers from this race. Hanovic, Begantin and Rayner, all 3 of them are out. Millen still in the race lead at the moment. The race is not won on the first lap, but it's where you can lose it, and that's what has caught a lot of the drivers out. Luke Prentice in 15th position now will feel glad he started from the pit lane. He preempted that there was going to be mayhem on that first lap. It stands, the gap between Busov and Vorkel will be down to 18 points, so it was only a small cut in Vorkel's lead. And Busov needs to get in front of Arsenio as soon as he can. Cross over the line. Who is going to post the fastest lap? I think Vermeulen's going to have that fastest lap to himself there. See the drivers who have pitted in. And Ben Milden's coming at the end of the second lap, so he feels like he needs to get the repair sorted out. Seems to have lost Hanovic, Begantin. Rayner's not continued. Postel is still in the pits at the moment. There is Ben Milden. Absolute carnage on the first lap. There's a stop and go penalty for Di Stefano for speeding in the pit lane. It just goes from bad to worse for him. And it looks like we've lost another driver from this race. I couldn't quite tell who that was. But either way, that's it's the end of the road for Begantin and Hanovic. Will Rayner has also retired. I think we've lost another 2 drivers from this race. Well, Hutchison and Alerts have continued. Postel is still in the pits and he's about to go down 2 laps, so that could well be his race done as well. I think Di Stefano has also left the server because of the penalties picked up, but you're not supposed to leave the server because it can upset the connections and upset the server in some way. I'm not a technician myself, so that's just maybe I've been told by other admins about drivers leaving the server when they shouldn't be doing so. Well, Milden's still in the race in 15th position. So I think effectively we've only got 17 running now in this race. We're only on lap 4 of the race. Vermeulen keeping his cool at the head of the pack. Arsenio second, Busov ahead of Vorkel. Want to see if there's any other battles going on further down the field. Well, there is Josh Clayton running in a fine P7 so far. Morgan Grace has kept his Ferrari out of the mayhem at the start. Craig Law is up to 9th place now. Vizzle and Ferreira are in the fight of their own for P10. And Sean Cole running in 12th place. And I think Luke Prentice should get in front of Caruana in a moment. Because Caruana has not exactly been on the pace in his appearances in Tier 1, in all honesty. And Postel has rejoined the race now, albeit 3 laps down. Or nearly 3 laps down, at least 2 anyway. So we've got 18 cars running. And Will Rayner's actually rejoined the race as well. So we've got 19 still running on circuit. So we've lost Matteo Di Stefano, Mauro Begantin, Adrian Hanovic. And we've also lost Will Freeman. So those 4 have retired from the race altogether. Chaotic beginning to the race. Busov ahead of Volkel still at the moment, but he needs to try and get past Arsenio if he can to help reduce the rears in the championship. Air temperature 21 degrees, 26 degrees track temperature as well. No rain is expected at the moment. Now the last corner are Arsenio and Busov. Godefroy is under threat from Melvin Kroes in the battle for 5th position. I think Kroes is going to move in front of Godefroy here into turn 1. But Godefroy is able to fend him off for the time being. Now the drivers have got their headlights on. What time is it now over there? It's 3:27, so not expecting the race to get towards darkness by any means. Sean Cull is now ahead of Fernando Ferreira because I think Ferreira has made a mistake on the previous laps and he's dropped back. Caron is still in front of Prentice, although Prentice is about to make a move on him into turn number 2. He gets through just there, nearly contact made between the pair of them, but I think Prentice's move is all but done. Providing that Caron sees it. And yeah, Prentice gets through, no problem. "13th place he goes. Arsenio and Busov still fighting with each other. I imagine there'll be an investigation afterwards on that first lap pileup involving many drivers, and some are even lucky to continue. Busov behind Arsenio in 2nd place, or in 3rd place rather. Getting close all the time. We'll go on board with Busov as he takes us through turn 2. Turn 3 as well. Turn 4 rather. Got a quick left and right chicane. This is turns 5 and 6. Up the hill through 7. It's a chicane of 8, 9 and 10. And 11. They go through now. King of 12. We've got turn 13 coming through. Both of them getting through there, no problem. 14 and 15. And into the last chicane, the Jackie X chicane, turns 16 and 17 to round up the 4-kilometre circuit. That's how quick it is round here in Zolder. And the drivers do tend to enjoy it. May not exactly be their favourite track, but quite a fast flowing one. Caruana is back ahead of Ferreira. Well, in fact, Ferreira's been dropping back horribly actually, because I think he's made another mistake on the lap. He's now behind Caruana. He's spun off again. Can't get that chicane right at the moment, can Fernando Ferreira. He joins. Behind him is Will Rayner, who's a few laps behind, so I think Will Rayner will just be happy to get to the finish because he knows he's out of sync with the others. Battle for 2nd place is still raging on at the moment. There's Busov behind Arsenio. Now, can he get a good exit coming out of the right-hander that takes them up the hill? Over 5 seconds is the gap between Vermeulen and Arsenio. Vermeulen running away with it so far. Eight laps done. I'd say we're looking at around about a 40 lap race here in Zolder. Located within the municipality of Zolder. It's located in the Belgian province of Limburg, near Hassel. As I've already mentioned, as it stands in the championship, Busov and Arsenia will reduce the arrears. Vorkl in the championship. Busov will be 18 points behind. Arsenio will be 21 points behind. It remains as it is now. It's still Vorkl's championship to lose by any means. I think he'll be happy just to sit behind them, to be honest with you, providing he doesn't fall too far back. Busov knows it's important for him to get in front of Arsenio, and it's the same feeling going through Arsenio mind's eye. Arsenio makes a mistake, and Busov takes advantage, and Busov is passed. So Busov pressurised Arsenio into a mistake after sitting behind him for a number of laps, and is through into second place. That's bad news for the Portuguese, but great news for the Croatian. Busov in the 95 Porsche is due into P2. The next man ahead of him is race leader Jared Vermeulen. Now, can he pull away from Arsenio? Chicane they go. Drivers just need to be aware of track limits as well. Godefroy has got Melvin Crows behind, Clayton also. Craig Law is in 8th position. Morgan Grace 9th, Farclub Brazil is in 10th, Sean Cull in 11th. Then we've got Luke Prentice is now up to 12th after starting from the pit lane. '19 still running. Rayner, who is running in 19th, is 3 laps behind. It does say 4, but I think it's technically 3. Hossel, he is 2 laps down on the leaders. In 18th position. Hutchinson is down a lap, as is Alerts and Milden. Everyone else that has not stopped in this race are all on the lead lap. I think Will Rayner's nearly 4 laps behind now. But providing he gets to the end of the race, nothing else matters. Fernando Ferreira has had a lacklustre day so far with the spins he's had. Arsenio falling further back into the clutches of Zdenek Vorkl. Melvin Crows in 6th place ahead of Godefroy. Josh Clayton 7th, Craig Law 8th. Not too much tussling going on at the moment. Sean Cole closing in on Farclub Bizzle in the battle for 10th. Four drivers we've lost from this race: Will Freeman, Adrian Hanovic, Mauro Bigantin and Matteo Di Stefano. Di Stefano retired a lap or so later after he broke the pit lane speed limit. The other 3 retired on the spot on the opening lap. Tell you what, if we had more cars in the field, goodness knows where we'd be at. 8 seconds is the margin between Vermeulen and Busov. Vermeulen's just absolutely in a league of his own. As he comes up to lap Will Rayner again. Rayner goes off the track. He's lapped for the 4th time, and he's still got a mandatory stop that he has to do. 18 minutes into this one. Vermeulen is about to cross over line to complete his 12th lap. Gap is increasing more and more, sector by sector, lap by lap. So Vorkel is still behind Arsenio as we speak, although he's quite close to him now. Are we going to see an overtake from the championship leader as we ride on board with the 999 McLaren? And he's not able to pull off an overtake this time around. Rose running in 6th position, got a right ahead. He's looking to get an overtake done as soon as possible. So they ride over the curbs. The first chicane of the lap. Sean Cole is right behind Vervizel in the battle for 10th still. He's looking to get an overtake done, providing he doesn't exceed track limits too many times. There's not too much happening at the moment, considering that the field is reduced now, and a lot of them are separated or in sort of different leagues of the race because others had to pit, unlike some. They're able to avoid the carnage on the opening lap. We are 20 minutes into this race now. Vorkel, it seems like he's doing his best to maintain his margin. Melvin Kroes is running in 6th position behind Godefroy. As they approach the chicane again. Behind Kroes is Clayton. Behind Clayton is Craig Law. Well, potentially a 4-car battle for 5th position. Hotting up. Sean Cole has fallen back from Farfel Fizzle. Busov running in P2 behind Vermeulen. As they come towards the last chicane of the lap, I think Vermeulen's about to continue on. I think it's unlikely that his fastest lap is going to be beaten given the pace he's been setting in this race so far. Been unstoppable. Turn 3. Busov running in P2, trying to do his best to close in on Vermeulen, but he can't do too much about the pace Vermeulen has been setting. By running wide on the exit of turn number 4, and is allowed Melvin Kroes to pull alongside, and Kroes gets through into 5th position. So that's an overtake, that's a change in position. Kroes gets past Godefroy and up to 5th. Coming through the sweeping sections of the circuit. Kroes is in 5th position. Godefroy under threat now from Josh Clayton, who's thinking about an overtake into the Jochen curve. Can't quite do it there and sits behind. Going to complete lap number 15. Craig Law is trying to make a move of his own on Josh Clayton for 7th place. Rising the curves on the exit of 4. Pros keeps his car on the circuit. It's Forkel behind Arsenio in the battle for 3rd. So 10.5 seconds off the race lead. Busov running in P2 behind Will Rayner, who's been lapped 4 times by the leader. So Busov is about to put a lap on him too. And they go. Zolder is behind Kroos. And Craig Law has got in front of Josh Clayton now for P7. So he's able to complete an overtake on the Brit. I think Josh Clayton's he's from the Midlands somewhere, because I know that because he's a Leicester City supporter. Race running in 9th position. Volkov result a couple of seconds ahead of Sean Cole. We'll have a look further back. Ben Milden's on his own in 15th place ahead of Kobe Alerts, who's a long way back from him. Stuart Hodgson is not too far behind Alerts, and Pedro Postel is going through the chicane. He's too far back to challenge anything because he's already 3 laps down on the leaders, or at least 2 anyway. Nealon is carrying on up front in a league of his own. 17 laps done. To dominate. Further back, Forkel is right behind Arsenio in the battle for 3rd place as they go through turn 1 together. Craig Law 7th, Josh Clayton 8th, we've got Morgan Grace in 9th. Grace running wide there, but able to keep his car on the track. Forkel has just lapped Fernando Ferreira. Stands Forkel will still lead by 16 points, with Busov now closing in championship race, which would mean that Forkel, to wrap up the championship, need to guarantee himself it. Need to score 28 points, and that means finishing 7th or higher to guarantee himself the title in Paul Ricard. I think that's very much doable, providing Busov wins the race and gets fastest lap. Turn 1 they come, Arsenio and Forkel. Spotify running in P6, Craig Law in P7. He's not able to do much as we speak. Josh Clayton 8th, Morgan Grace 9th. Luke Prentice, after starting from the pit lane, has found himself up in P12. Not got anyone to fight with at the moment. I'm sure that's the kind of race he'd have been after, given all the carnage that's happened. Behind Luke Prentice on the road is Ben Milden, who's a lap behind him. Question is, when will the leaders think about pitting? Because we're coming towards the halfway point in this race now. Lap 19, or coming towards the end of lap 19 for the race leader. Riding the curves on the inside and the outside. Doing his best. Just extend the margin over Busov for when he does come in for a pit stop. He's just getting past Kobe Alerts though, who's had a terrible race so far. Wants to get to the finish. Melvin Gross in the pits then from P5. Fall behind Caruana, I think. Because Caruana's coming round towards Joachim Rindt. Prince is coming around the last corner as well now. He will go through past Crows. And another driver coming in, and that's Caruana coming in. So Crows will rejoin in 12th place behind Luke Prentice. Now we've got a battle between Godefroy and Law for P5 on track. So is continuing on, and we are seeing Craig Law head for the pits at the same time as Jeffrey Godefroy, but Godefroy nearly takes him out as they enter the pit lane. Busov is in as well, but Godefroy made an absolute catastrophe of an entry into the pit lane and nearly taking out Craig Law. Came into the pits way too quick and nearly ended his race on the spot, and Craig Law's as well. So Arsenio will go into second place for now. It's actually in front. Is that Melvin Crows is in front there? Melvin Crows has been in the pits for a long time. And now he wants to try and get back in front on the lead lap. Start unlapping himself from cars ahead. But he needs to be careful because he's got Zdenek Vorkl right behind, of which he's not battling. Actually, would hate to hear the sound of that. Busov has done his stop now, and he'll rejoin in front of the 68 Petro Apostle, who's a few laps behind anyway. Busov rejoins in 9th position. Riding the curves again. Vermeulen comes into the pits from the race lead. Now, will any of the leaders, or Arsenio or Vorkl... Oh dear! Vorkl has run into the back of Melvin Crows! He was going way too quick, and he nearly veers into the path of Josh Clayton, who came in as well. Shocking driving standards. That was completely Vorkl's fault, because he didn't judge Melvin Crows' braking bike and just ran into the back of him. Well, Crows is back on circuit, but surely the damage to his car is too much. We'll have to pit in. That could change the complexion of the championship. No, he's pulling off. He's out. Melvin Crows is out of the race here at Zolder. I would imagine that Zdenek Vorkl is going to be under investigation for that collision. Well, he's into his box, but he's going to lose a bundle of time, needing to get that repair work done. This is great news for Mauro Arsenio and Nico Busov. Well, Arsenio's into the lead on track, with Vermeulen looking good for victory once all the pit stops are done. But that was the last thing that Zdenek Vorkl needed to do. Carried way too much speed, didn't judge his braking point well, didn't notice Melvin Krause was actually going past the pit lane onto the chicane, onto the pit straight, and just carried too much speed and just completely walloping back into the back of him. Busov will be through. He's already through anyway. Godefroy will be through. Craig Law will go through. Fernando Ferreira is coming into the pits for his mandatory stop. I think. Where will Vorkel rejoin? Well, he's not left his box yet. He's going to fall down the order big time with this repair work has been done. He's left his box now. He'll rejoin in front of Ben Milden in P11. That could have been so much worse. Ahead of him there, that will be Sean Cull, who's a lap ahead of him. Thinking of it. Bizzle's in the pits now. You're looking at Arsenio, your temporary race leader. Going through the chicane, won't want to be doing that too many times. How furious will Melvin Krause be with Zdeněk Vorkel afterwards? So Melvin Krause joins as we see a stop-go penalty being given to Fernando Ferreira for speeding in the pit lane. So they'll have to come in within the next 3 laps to get that served. Arsenio comes in for his only stop of the race now, as is Morgan Grace. So we could see Sean Cull in the lead. I think Will Rayner's coming in as well in the BMW for his only stop. He's a long way back anyway. Sean Cull goes into the lead of the race. Luke Prentice will go through into second. Having a respectable clean one so far. Still yet to make his only stop. Only he and Sean Cull have yet to make their mandatory pit stops. Fernando Ferreira will have a stop and go penalty to serve, which will allow Kobe Alerts through. Stuart Hudson as well. So it'll probably just be those 2 positions he'll lose. Vermeulen is in 5th place. Well, not anymore because he's ahead of Arsenio. He's miles ahead of Arsenio. That won't matter too much though for Arsenio because he probably knew that Vermeulen was going to be too quick in the race anyway. Busov is in front of Arsenio though. So Busov is able to get in front of Arsenio again and is effectively in 2nd place once all the pit stops are done. For Arsenio knows that there's an extra... It's a 4-point swing here if Arsenio can get in front, because whilst it's 2 points gained for Arsenio, it's 2 points lost for Busov. And with Vorkel down the order after his collision with Krause, and I would imagine there's going to be an investigation over him for the collision, this is going to have a huge change in the complexion of the championship going into Paul Ricard for the season finale. Before the race started, Vorkel was 20 points clear over Nico Busov and 25 clear of Arsenio. Now, should Busov and Arsenio finish 2nd and 3rd, they'll get 38 and 36 points respectively. Should Vorkel remain in 11th place, I don't think he will, but let's just say he does. The gap will be down to 2 points. 2 ahead of Busov. And I think it's 9 ahead of Arsenio. And that's going to give the pair of them a huge opportunity to clinch it in Paul Ricard. So Vorkel's chances could even dash further if a penalty goes his way. He could end up losing the lead in the championship. I think if he was to be given a penalty for the collision with Crows, I think he'll only lose one place, and that's to Ben Milden. We've got a Fry running at the moment in P8, but he should be in P6 once Kull and Prentice have done their stops. He'll mathematically stay in the hunt for the title, but only by a mathematical certainty. But Busov and Arsenio are the main threats to Volkel in this title fight. Expect to see a real dice between Busov and Arsenio closing laps. Melvin Crows will be absolutely livid. His first non-finish of the season. He was already out of the title race effectively by this point, but I'm sure he wouldn't have wanted to end this race in retirement given the carnage we've had so far. The carnage has come alive again. Now we're seeing Arsenio putting pressure on Busov in the battle for second position here. As he looks to make a move, we ride on board with the Portuguese. So he enters the chicane. Busov runs wide and has to slam on the brakes to make sure he got through the corner fine. Arsenio had to put his foot on the brakes. He's run wide. He's dropped back horribly. That was all what Busov needed there, is to push him into a mistake. And Arsenio will need to fight hard to get back in touch with the Croatian. Around about a third of the race to go then, as Sean Kull, I think, is still in the race lead at the moment on that 27. And behind him there is Zdeněk Volkel, who's a lap down on him. Craiglaw gets in front of Morgan Grace for 8th place. Fighting back through the field. Foglob Vizsel's not too far back. Now we are seeing Volkel putting pressure on Sean Kull. Now Sean Kull can allow him through if he wanted to, but Volkel's going to get through. He needs to make sure he gets on the pace and get back in touch with those ahead pretty much, because they've done their stops, apart from Sean Kull and Luke Prentice. Volkel down in P11. He'll still have the championship lead, but only just. I mean, that's if Busov and Arsenio... In fact, Arsenio's dropped back from Busov. He's now behind Josh Clayton. Now that's a change in the complexion for the championship as well, because that's 2 points lost for Arsenio. We didn't see what happened to him, but he's now behind Josh Clayton. And he's made a mistake somewhere. He's dropped back horribly from Busov, who's further clear. Arsenio down to 6th. There's Morgan Grace, just made a mistake there and didn't go through the last chicane as sweetly as he would needed to have done. Looks to be on course to get the fastest lap. I don't think that's going to change between now and the checker flag, given the pace we've seen from him so far. Now looking at what time it was he posted that fastest lap on. don't think we can actually see it, unfortunately, which is a bit of a shame. Should normally be able to see it. By the way, he's got the fast start point, hence why there's that purple marker next to his name. So far, it's looking good for Gerard Vermeulen to take victory after being on pole earlier. Lap 29. When will Sean Cole and Luke Prentice decide to pit in? They don't have anything to lose, these two. And given how late it is in the race for them to make their pit stops, I would say that it's going to be a quick splash and dash and a quick change of tyres and they'll be out on their way. Sean Cole is 8 seconds clear of Luke Prentice. Still got Zdenek Volkel right behind him. I suppose the saving grace for Zdenek Volkel is that, given the number of cars left in the race, he's lucky that perhaps where he ends up finishing, it's a blessing in disguise. Luke Prentice is coming in from P2 at the end of lap 29. So how quick of a pit stop is this going to be from the Brit? Let's see a calculation of what the pit stop is going to be. I can tell you that Morgan Grace has got back in front of Craig Law again. Law must have made a mistake somewhere around the lap. To the pits comes Prentice. I would say it's going to be less than 10 seconds this pit stop. Well, it's actually more than 10 seconds. Pit stop going to be, well, he's not leaving his box yet. Busov has already gone past, Clayton's gone past. That was around about 34 seconds, that pit stop for Luke Prentice. I thought it'd be a lot quicker than that, in all honesty. Fizzle is through. Grace has dropped back. He's made a mistake somewhere around that last lap. And I think Luke Prentice is in front of him. Oh, they're going to turn through there. And just about Luke Prentice got this car slowed down in time. But he's ahead of Zdenek Volkel. But for how long? Because Zdenek Volkel is running in 11th place. Sean Cole coming into the pits now. Now, is this going to be a quicker pit stop than what Luke Prentice had done? 34 seconds it was for Luke Prentice when he came in. So is it going to be for Sean Cole? And there's an incident involving the 226, and that's Craig Law who's spun. Sorry to cut away from the pit stop there, but Craig Law has made a mistake and needs to get back on the track. Not rejoin into the path of Prentice or Grace, but he rejoins behind them in 10th. And the time of the stop for Sean Cole was around about 33 seconds. So similar to what Prentice had done. So all the mandatory stops are completed. So Sean Cole will rejoin in... So you're going to rejoin here. He's actually going to be joined behind Farclough for Fizzle in P7, is it? Unless he can get out in front of him here. The answer is that Cole gets out in front of him in P6. So Sean Cole up to P6 in the pit stops. Sean Cole's for a decent result here. It's a long way behind. Well, not too far behind Jeffrey Godefroy, but I doubt he's going to be able to make up the time to catch up to him. All of this then promotes Josh Clayton up to 3rd, Busov 2nd, Arsenio is 4th. Now, as it stands, with Busov in 2nd place and Zdenek Volkel way back in 11th, the gap will come down to 2 points going into the season finale. Arsenio, who will be collecting 34 points from this race, he'll go on to 225. He's only taken 14 points out of Forkel's gap over him. So what is the 25-point gap will now become an 11-point gap. The best way for him to get back ahead will be to get through ahead of Josh Clayton. Championship is going to go down to the wire. The question is, how close will it be going into the season finale? As it stands, effectively nothing is in it. Vermeulen is nearly half a minute ahead of second place Busov. Incredible race from him. Well, Ben Milden's 22 seconds nearly behind Zdenek Forkel. Now, if Forkel is going to get a penalty, how bad of a penalty is it going to be? If he loses another position to Milden, the gap will be down to 1 point between him and Nico Busov. And if he loses... Oh, that's Arsenio spinning! He carried too much speed at the chicane. Gets going again. But he cannot make any more mistakes from here on in. Last thing he needed, they did exactly the same thing as what Craig Law did. We got away quicker. But he's now lost crucial ground to Clayton. And Arsenio will just need to get to the end now. I think that battle with Clayton for third place is effectively gone now. He just cannot make any more mistakes from here on in. Bizzle will be happy with his 7th place. Luke Prentice 8th after starting from the pit lane is a tremendous effort. Going long on his first stint. Making the pit stop work. Avoiding the carnage at the start. That decision to start from the pit lane was probably one of the best decisions he'll have made all season. If not in his time within the FRL. Kobe Alert's running in 14th place ahead of Stuart Hutchinson. Fernando Ferreira behind them in 16th. Pedro Postel is a few laps down on the leader in 17th place, and Will Rayner at least 4 laps behind in 18th. Those are the loss of the runners. Melvin Kroes is retired, as has Matteo Di Stefano. Murray Begansin, Adrian Hanovich and Will Freeman are the other drivers no longer competing in this race. Vermeulen, Vermeulen, Forkel is right behind Law in the battle for 10th place. Now if Forkel can get through on Law, there's another couple of points going in the way of Forkel in the championship race. Comes towards the chicane now. Law just needs to be careful he doesn't exceed track limits too many times. The same with Forkel. Now, if Forkel was to get a drive-through penalty or whatever for track limits, that could hand 11th position to Ben Milden. Nine minutes remaining. Or just under that. Millen is coming around to complete his 34th lap. I would say we've got 6 laps remaining in this race. Now on lap 35. Senio 4th, Godefroy in 5th position ahead of Sean Cole. What about the battle between Law and Vorkel? They're still where they are in 10th and 11th. Luke Prentice 8 seconds behind Vorkel of the Bizzle. Morgan Grace isn't too far behind, he's only just over a second back. So we're going to fight it out to the end, I would imagine. So Zdenek Vorkel, who has led the championship since the start of the season, still going to be at the head of the field going into Paul Ricard, but the lead is going to be coming down quite dramatically. Run too deep there into the last chicane there, and that's given Craig Law a buffer. It's Vermeulen behind Stuart Hutchinson, who's had another race to forget. Having said that, he's going to finish in 15th position. Round to lap him again. Is Hudson moving out of the way? You can see the blue flags are waving, and he should allow 14 Ferrari through. Sonia is closing the gap down a little bit to Clayton, but as I've already mentioned, there's no way he's going to get ahead of him unless Clayton makes a mistake between now and the checkered flag. 5.4 seconds is the gap between those two. Seconds it was in the previous sector. It's going to be the gap now to sector 1 here. It's like Petr Postel who's slowing down there. I think that's just to let the cars go through. Going very quick by any means. I think he stopped on the circuit actually, is Petr Postel. Was he just doing it to stay out of the way? Well, I don't know where he's accidentally hit the ignition switch. All that time being lost. There he's better than what shown here today. Five minutes remaining. Gap that Vermeulen has. Busov is a long way back actually. Borkel is 2.6 seconds behind Law, and it doesn't look like he's going to be making up another position between now and the end of the race. 11th is where he's going to be finishing. It's the worst result of the season so far, unless anything happens up ahead. Line again. Vermeulen is crossing over the line. 3 laps to go for him. What a race it's been from Vermeulen. First start, pole position, fastest lap, race win. Gone any better for him. Sanya's got the gap down to 4.6 seconds through sector 2 between him and Josh Clayton. Can he get the gap down even more? Just put Clayton under a bit more pressure again. Just over 3 minutes to go. Got 3 more laps to do. It's 4.6. Petr Postel continuing to stay out of the way of other drivers, and I think Will Rayner might just have got in front of him. And I think Petr Postel is just desperate for this race to get done now. And Will Rayner is now... Is he actually ahead of Postel? No, he's not. He's still just under a lap behind, but he makes a mistake into turn 1 as he tried to unlap himself from Kobe Alerts. Gets away with it. It's Vermeulen on his penultimate lap now. Now, Arsenio got the gap down to 4.2 seconds in the last set. It's gone back up to 4.3. Not doing enough. Josh Clayton's previous best result this season has been a 4th place in round 2 at Imola. About to bag his first podium in the pro category of the Taco Tuesday series. As long as I can remember. Certainly it'll be his first this campaign. Arsenio has got the gap down a little bit to 4.2. Not going to do enough. Clayton can afford to just take it easy a little bit. Milan's just lapped Petropostal yet again. Now, 1 lap away from victory. Over the line now to begin his final lap of the race. Jared Vermeulen, what a drive this has been from him. A league of his own. Untroubled from the start. Stayed out of the mayhem. And has just simply not put a foot wrong. Not put a foot wrong by any means. As far as the Manufacturers' Championship is concerned, it's all but wrapped up in favour of McLaren. But Ferrari know that they want to end their campaign on a high. I think Sean Cole has made a mistake somewhere. He's just been overtaken by Verpissel and Prentice. So he's dropped down to 8th position. Has he got a problem? Has he underfueled, I wonder? That could hand a position to Zdeněk Vorkl. We'll go to Jared Vermeulen. He's about to complete his final lap here. Yeah, I think Sean Cole's underfueled. So that could hand the position over to Zdeněk Vorkl. But here's Jared Vermeulen. He's about to complete the final lap of the race. And he's going to take victory in style. Jared Vermeulen becomes a race winner in the pro category of Taco Tuesday at Zolder in the FRL. Very well done to him. Second place is going to be Nico Busov. A long way back, but he's left himself with a genuine chance of the title, with Vorkl being in the wars tonight. I think Caruana stopped on circuit on the last lap, so I'm not sure if he's going to be able to keep his points for finishing where he's ended up. Nico Busov then. Josh Clayton not too far behind him actually, only 3 seconds. But he's going to about to cross over the line now to finish in 2nd place. Yet another P2 for him. With Josh Clayton coming home in 3rd. A drive-through penalty for Craig Law on the last lap. So that's going to hand a position over to Zdeněk Vorkl. And with Sean Cole running out of fuel, I don't think he's going to be classified, because via the FRL rules, if you run out of fuel on the last lap and you stop, you will get a DNF and not your points. Verpissel will be 6th behind Godefroy. Luke Prentice from the pit lane will be 7th. Great drive from him. Morgan Grace will be 8th. Craig Law will drop back with his penalty, so that will promote Zdeněk Vorkl up to P9. So that is giving him a chance going into the season finale. He will be the favourite to win it. So once the time penalty's been applied, he'll go up to 9th for sure. But there is your race winner. It's Jared Vermeulen in the number 14 Ferrari in Taco Tuesday in the pro category here at Zolder. Nico Busov coming home in 2nd place, keeping himself in the hunt for the title. Over 43 seconds behind he was at the flag. Extraordinary. Josh Clayton on the podium for the first time this season, with Mauro Arsenio in 4th position. Jeffrey Godefroy is 5th ahead of Farclay Verpissel. Luke Prentice was P7 from the pit lane, ahead of Morgan Grace. Craig Law's penalty should be applied, I think, in due course. So we're just waiting on the final classification to update. Once it has been updated, we'll run down on the correct finishing order. Once we wait for the order to be updated, should Volkel go up into 9th place, he'll go into the last race 6 points clear of Nico Busov. Make for a titanic scrap for the title. All Volkel would need to do is to finish 3rd or higher to be crowned champion. Here's the final race result then. Fumelin wins with Busov 2nd, Clayton 3rd, Arsenio 4th. It's Godfrey for Bizzle, Prentice, Grace, Volkel in 9th, had a Craig Law in 10th. Sean Cole ran out of fuel on the last lap, so I'm not sure he's going to be able to keep that because he's supposed to take the checker flag in as far as the rules are concerned. Ben Milden in 12th, Kobe Alert's 13th, with Corona running out of fuel on the last lap, but I'm not sure if he'll keep his 14th position. Hutchinson 15th, had a Ferrara, Postle and Rayner with the rest of the finishes. Melvin Krause, Matteo Di Stefano, Will Freeman, Adrian Hanovich and Mauro Begantin failed to finish. It was a chaotic beginning to the race, so we didn't see as much action as we would like to have done, but that's racing for you sometimes. As I've already mentioned, Denik Volkel is 6 points clear over Nico Busov in the title fight. Arsenio's 4th place finish reduces the gap between him and Volkel by a total of 12 points in the end, so he's now only 13 behind his rival, but he's still got a chance to win it. Whereas Jeffrey Godfrey, he's more or less out of contention, I think. He was 38 points behind, but has actually got the gap down between him and Volkel to what is 28 points. So mathematically, he's still got a chance, but it's very unlikely he's going to be winning it this season. But he's been consistent all campaign. It's time to end it there. Thank you very much for watching this. If you did enjoy it on Twitch live, make sure you follow and like. If you're watching us on YouTube on Catch Up, do make sure you subscribe and leave a like on the video itself. And you can check out all the other leagues the FOL has to offer and how you can get involved. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much for watching. See you next week for the season finale. Who's going to be crowned champion of Taco Tuesday Pro in Season 10? I'm Tom Cans, and I'll speak to you again soon when the Formula Racing League returns.